I'm Connie Tan,
And I'm Zoo Dittenbach.
and we welcome you to Grace and Grit. This is our first podcast for women to encourage women who are trying to balance it all. And today we are talking about why we are choosing Jesus in our busy life. How do we get by? And how do we balance it all? And that's why we're here, to encourage and give hope to women. So, Zoo, today we're going to talk about why do you choose Jesus in your everyday life?
This is a very good question, Connie. And I am a woman of God. I was not like that my entire life, so you know it. I grew up in church my whole life, but I don't know if anybody here watching can relate to that. But I didn't really know Jesus. I didn't know who he was. It wasn't until I left home and I started living by myself, and I realized that I really wanted to follow Jesus. I really wanted him in my life. Okay, I gave my life to Jesus, but then there it comes. How to build from there a relationship with him? Okay, so I got married. I had my first daughter, and then here came the thing. I wanted to have a second child. Couldn't have it. It was miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. What do you do? What do you do? And I was like, well, I follow Jesus. He loves me, and but he's allowing me to suffer so badly. I don't know if anybody here watching has experienced the pain of miscarriage. Those were one of the darkest moments of my whole life. It's like a literal roller coaster. You get the positive test result that you're gonna have a baby, and then all of a sudden you lose that baby. What do you do? And I felt very alone. And if you are feeling alone in this situation, I'm telling you, you are not. Just stick with me. I I went through this roller coaster and I cried and I felt a lot of pain. But at the same time, I knew that God loved me because I knew He was there with me. I felt that somehow. But I couldn't reconcile the fact that a God who loved me would just allow me to suffer so much. I decided it was a decision that I made. I'm gonna find this out. That's who I am. If I'm intrigued by something, I just don't leave it there. I go into deeper just to try to understand. And that's what I did. I went on and I tried to search, I tried to understand. I prayed to God, I spoke to Him, He spoke to me powerfully many times. I remember there was a moment where I had a very good friend of mine. She was not a believer like I was. And she told me, hey Sue, we decided to have another child. A month later, there she comes with the news. I'm expecting a baby. That crushed my heart. I was so crushed. And I went to God. I literally said, God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? She's not even a believer. And you gave her a baby 1 month after she tried. And I've been for years trying and suffering, and I don't have a baby. So I was bitter. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was sad, depressed. That's my feeling. And I'm not very proud of them, but I'm being honest, right? This is a place to be honest.
Yes,
So
it is.
that's where I was. And then I start searching. So I continue searching in the midst of my pain. And at the time, my son is now 10 years old. So put like 14, 13, 12 years ago. And he said, and I started watching Joyce Meyer's sermons and videos in YouTube and I don't know where. And then I remember one day she said, God's plan for you is for you only. Do not worry about what he does to A, B, or C because it's none of your business. God's plan for you is yours. He's trying to build something in your life for you. If it seems like somebody else is having more than you, that's none of your business. Your matter is with God and God alone.
Wow.
And at the time, God had already told me, I have plans for you, Zoo. I have plans. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I, in the midst of my sorrows and weeping, because I did cry a lot, I just felt love. I just felt love. I don't know if you have felt God's love for you, that embrace. I felt him so close to me. I haven't felt him that close since then. But on my nights that I would go to bed and cry myself to sleep, I felt him so close. It's something that only people who experience that can.
So that verse about that God is close to the brokenhearted, you felt that, like
I have.
that was your verse.
That's real in my life. I know that. I know that. And then what happened was, as I could understand how God works, here are the things that I learned. I learned that God, he loves me so much. He doesn't want me to be in pain. But he does want to understand that. He does want me to understand that he changes us. He improves us. He increases our faith in him. And how can he increase our faith if our faith is not tested and tested in the things that are very hard for us? And I learned that I was being tested in my faith. I learned that. And I had two choices. Either I walk away from God or I lean into him. What I was going to do, I was like, that's so much love for me to walk away. So I got closer and I realized that God had plans for me, but his plans would only be revealed if I was willing to accept it. And it took a long time. Those were like 4.5 years of my life. And
which is a long time to wait on God for that. That's a long time.
It is a long time. Especially I was fairly young, early 30s. Did not have much experience in anything. But then I finally stopped resisting God. Resisting. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want him telling me, Zoo, I am not gonna give you a child. I didn't want to hear it. So I was always fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting it. And I got tired.
Oh, what a lesson to get so. Isn't that? And now that you've grown since that, and we'll get to the rest of your story, but isn't it amazing the other things in our life that we get to a fork on the road and we have to decide how to act? Are we going to cling? Are we going to?
Yes.
And then I hear through your story that you're praising God through this. I can hear it.
Yes.
That you're beginning to praise him, and that's how you're dealing with it as well.
Yeah, it was. It was, and it took 4.5 years for me to realize that. Because I said, God, and now I know better, right? 13, 10 years, 14 years later, I know better. When something comes that's not my way, I'm like, okay, God, tell me. Tell me, what is it that I need to learn? What is it that you want from me? But at the time, I was resisting and resisting and resisting and be resented and angry and upset and frustrated. But then I finally said, God, if you want me to be a mom of one child, I trust you. I will accept it. I will accept it because I know you would not want me to live this misery that I'm living right now. And I know there will be some healing out there. And I did. And I truly accepted where I was. And I knew that that was the beginning of the healing. But let me tell you that when I finally surrendered to his will, I truly did, for the good, for the better, for the worse, that's when I got pregnant with my second son. Yes, I was 39 years old, 3 months short to be 40. And people don't understand, why are you got to be a mom so late? I'm like, it's not late. It was God's
right on
timing.
time. Right on time. And Daniel is amazing.
Yes, he's such a blessing for our family. But what I want to say, because some people may be watching this and be saying, well, but God didn't give me a child. I didn't get the happy ending, but I guarantee you that you had a happy ending. It's just depending on how you look at it. Kids are a blessing. Not having kids are a blessing. Living alone is a blessing. Being married is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? As long as you surrender to the Lord, you will be satisfied. Why Jesus? He fills my cup.
Mm. Amen to that.
He satisfies me.
Mm.
Even when it's not. Or I have other stories where the ending is not so happy like that. I have endings that I didn't get what I want, but I learned from that lesson in my life that God is in control and that I can rest assured that He will give me what I need. He will provide. He is there. I think that's the point. He is there. Connie, I have to say, when you experience God's presence in your life, you don't want anything else. You you know what that presence does to you, and that's all you want. I don't care if I have what I dreamed of, if my desire is fulfilled or not, if I'm in a golden palace or in a little hut. I want God's presence, and that's what I learned to appreciate, to value more than anything. That's why Jesus.
How will you describe his presence? You have a little bit, but explore that with me of how you, like on a daily basis, how you describe his presence.
So on a daily basis is I experience God in many situations. I'm a runner, and sometimes simple things. When you get up like 5 o'clock in the morning to run. One day I got up. I'm not a morning person, but sometimes when I used to train for a half marathon, I had to get up early, and the sun was just rising. And in that rising of the sun, the sky was a little purple, a little orange. And the breeze, the cooler breeze in the morning touching my face. I felt that God was running with me. That is something very subjective, right? But also, I experienced God in going to a hospital and to do a test or have an appointment. And you know how hospitals are here in St. Louis. You cannot find a place to park, especially the large hospitals. And I'm like, God, I'm late. I need to park over here. What is going on? And you run around. As soon as you stop saying that prayer, what happens? In a packed, no spot parking lot. Somebody backs up. And you see the spot lot for me. And in my mornings, sometimes you are reading the Bible, and you have a question for God, that He doesn't answer. And then you are reading the Bible, and then He just whispers that in your ears. There's nothing. I cry every time he does that to me. No, it is him. And there's no better place than being still in here talking. Also, God doesn't talk to me. Well, do you seek him? Do you get into his presence? Do you spend time? Seek me and you will find me. Do you seek him? Right? If you don't seek him, you will never find. I decided to seek the Lord because I needed answers for my questions. That's why he answered me. He gets closer. He says, "Come to me, and I'll come to you." So if you don't get closer, you won't get closer.
What about would you say to moms who have really young children and the house is just busy all the time, and there's not a moment? And by the time they do have a moment, they're so dead tired. How do you have any skill with that of what they could do to get closer to get in his presence?
Those are tough moments. Those are tough moments. I've been there. And what I want to tell you is that there is grace. God sees you. He understands you. And if all that you have is at the dead moment and night that you have super tired. That's the only 5 minutes. God, I really wanted to seek you today, but there was no way to do it. But please be with me. He answers that. In those simple prayers, you experience His presence, and you will experience His presence in sprinkles
Oh,
of
I
the
like
day.
that. I like the sprinkles. That's
Yes,
amazing.
He does.
Yeah.
In simple things,
Okay.
as you wash the dishes. One day when I had my daughter, she was very little, so tired and exhausted, and that day specifically, we are not into cereal, but that day she had Cheerios for breakfast. And guess what? There was some Cheerios on the floor and stuff like that. And I was like, man, it's a lot of work. And I was driving her to take her to the daycare. And I was there complaining to God, God, I don't have time for anything. It's so much work. We get up, we get the kids ready. I have to get myself ready. Now I go to work. And where was my husband? And I feel so tired. And there came a music on the radio. I don't remember what the song was. I'll find it. That says, if you are working hard and picking up Cheerios on the floor, it matters because God sees you. And I
no
felt
way.
God
No way.
speaking to me. Yes.
Oh.
And I don't forget that day. And
Yeah.
he was probably 2, 3 years old. And he said, I see you. God sees you. And the knowledge that He sees you and the awareness of His presence will carry you through this stage. There is grace. There's nothing to be done there other than when you have the energy, get up a little earlier, use the time in your favor. When somebody takes the kids to out, or when the kids are asleep, those are the sprinkled moments that you can experience Jesus, but don't lose that connection. That's my point. If it is a minute here and there, use the minute. But I remember I felt guilty many times because I didn't have the faith that I have today.
Yeah.
I felt like that I was turning God down.
Yeah.
But now I look back and I see God was right there the entire moment, and He had so much grace and love
So
for
much
me.
grace. I love the God sprinkles. I think we're just going to use that through all our Grit and Grace podcasts, because that is, like we say, God moments. That's the popular thing, but
Yes.
God sprinkles are just is so much better.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You mean it's sprinkled across
Yes.
your life. It's sprinkled across your day, and they're small, and it's
Yes.
only for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like on top of the ice cream, where it just makes everything better. So
I like what you said.
it's
only
you.
for
It's your quote. I love it. But we're stealing it. We're making it for the
But I like
podcast.
what you
love it.
said. It is just for you,
Yeah.
customized, right? He's customized. That's why I like the moment with God that I feel like it's customized to me. I have this accent. I'm a little quirky. I can be a little weird sometimes. I
weird.
have my own ways of doing things. But God, He loves me just the right way. And He will love you just the way you are. If you have one kid, if you have 5 kids, if you have no kids, if you're struggling with your job, if you are dead, buried in work and you have no time, you have bills to pay and you have juggling. God has grace, and you're not alone.
Doesn't
You're
forget
here.
about you.
Yeah.
You can come here and get encouragement too, and I think that's why we've begun this, is because we didn't have those mentors.
No.
We've been friends for a long time, and we didn't really have those mentors in our life. And to have that, a place to come, to be recognized, to remind you that God sees you, God is sprinkling His presence all over you, and we just have to look up.
Yes.
And sometimes we're too tired to look up. He still makes Himself known to us during our day, and that's why we're here.
Yes. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you for
I'll
your
see you
story.
next time. Bye.